Thomas is out conquering the wild with a push mower, mowing himself a bike path. I think it's proven to be a little bit more work than he anticipated, but pretty motivated to get it done. Thomas loves it out here about as much as I do, maybe more some days. We just went to town mowing, I don't know, 60, 70 yards long, about a vehicle width wide, all with the push mower after he got the cabin side done. So we love coming out here. He loves the exercise, the fresh air, hard work. It's good for him, it's rewarding. And I love being able to share something like this with one of my kids. Well, we're out here today. Got a fun little task ahead of us. The other day we were running the push mower, or attempting to run the push mower, and the pull rope broke. The rope broke. It was a sad story. Gold star if you get that movie quote. But anyway, suffice it to say, came out to the cabin site, and in order to keep it from getting overgrown, I'm gonna try and weed eat the whole area. Not really super excited about it, but got to get it done. So hope you enjoy watching me weed eat. Took a little drink break, probably about halfway done with the weed eating. It's not going too bad. You guys probably can't even tell the difference where the weed eater is where I stopped. Doesn't show up on camera real well. But stuff had just started growing up, and it's not even the grass, it's the weeds, it's all this stuff that I don't want to let get back on top of me. And then there's quite a bit. See if I can find any. I keep seeing what I think is poison ivy. See that right there? Not real great at identifying it, but I am pretty good at getting it. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to come out and weed eat tonight. Another thing I've been meaning to show you guys, and I keep forgetting, I don't know if you remember, we had poison ivy growing up a couple of these trees, and I chopped it off. See if I could get over here and see. Yeah, I chopped it down there, but as you can see, there's more starting to grow back at the ground. Poison ivy is an issue in this area. Hard to kill, hard to get rid of. I really don't want to have to spray it, but it might come to that. I just don't want to have to deal with that every time we come out. But I think out here in the yard, the cabin side, if we can just keep it mowed down, that'll eliminate it there. So I made a deal with myself recently. It's been a, if I can open up a little bit to you guys, it's been a stressful time. We got some stuff going on that it's all building up towards good things. But just being in the thick of it's pretty stressful. I think we all have those times in our lives where I see the path that God's leading us down, and I'm having a hard time being patient at getting to that point, and just taking a minute to appreciate where I am now, to appreciate the grind, as they say, as the kids say. But I've learned that you can wish your life away pretty quickly. And while there are certain aspects of my life that will be better in the future, there will be others that, I don't know if you can say that they would be worse, but they'll be different as the kids grow up and get out of the house. I'm looking forward to seeing them build their lives, but it'll be a challenge not having them around. But anyway, that's a total tangent. So through this stressful period of life, what I'm trying to focus on is just being in the present moment. Not being impatient about reaching some goal or getting to some point of stability, comfort. And just being thankful for what I have, what God's given me, especially in this present moment. And it came to me the other day. We have a small chapel here local that's open 24/7. And I wanted to take some prayer time and some check-in time. And I really felt God calling me, you know what, instead of trying to do this in the house with everybody there, why don't you just go spend a few minutes at the chapel? It's like 4 blocks from my house. I should go there every day. So I just took some time there and just tried to listen. Not only listen to God, but kind of listen to myself. That's not something that I've done a lot in my life. I've always tried to tell myself things, but never really listened to myself. And in the chapel, I felt a sense of being in that moment. And just taking a beat and just being okay with where I was. Physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Am I where I want to be in all those areas? No. But I think it's important that we're okay with where we are. Even if we're in a bad spot, it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. But in that moment, I was okay. I was good. I felt the deep connection to God and just an inner peace. And so thinking farther, I thought, there's really 2 places physical places that I know of that it's easier for me to be in the moment. One is the chapel, and one is out here at the cabin site. I'll give you an update on the cabin here in a few minutes. And that's one of the reasons, probably the main reason, why I wanted to come out today and do this hot, sweaty job. As I'm filming, it's late July, it's hot, it's gross. Can't wait for cooler weather. But with it being an especially stressful time, I promised myself that, especially when I was really feeling that stress, to make it a priority to get to one of those places. Because the man I want to be is the man that's okay in the present moment. That's the man that my family needs. That's the man that God wants. And that's the man I want to be. So I had a couple hours. I thought I'd come out here, get some physical activity done, and just be in the moment. I love being out here specifically because things are simple. There's long grass, I come out and cut it. There's wood that needs to be split, I split it very poorly. And so 2 things out of that. One, I want to encourage you guys, somewhere in your life, find 2 things, especially when things are tough. Number 1, find a garden. And we've talked about this. I don't mean a vegetable garden or a flower garden, although that might be it for you. Maybe it's the woods, maybe it's a state park, maybe it's a local park, maybe it's a chapel, maybe it's just going for a drive. But find a spot where it's easier for you to be okay and to be in the present moment. It's not selfish. In fact, I would contend it's selfish not to do that. Because if you're not in a good space, whatever that means for you, then you're not being who you need to be for those around you. Man, that breeze is beautiful. So number 1, find your garden. Number 2, and this was a lesson my dad taught me years ago. He said there is a lot of value in a job that has a beginning and an end, and you can see the result. I think it's bonus if it's something physical, but it doesn't have to be. It can be as simple as washing a countertop full of dishes, mowing the grass, painting something, building something, cleaning a bathroom. But find a job that's pretty brainless, that has a beginning and an end, and you can see the result at the end. Let's talk about the cabin for a minute. You guys saw the video where I completely failed to move it. The 4Runner just did not have what it took to move it. So we are still wanting to try to get that moved over to the site here. The problem is we're in the dead of hay season, and my buddy's tractor that I'm going to use is like a county and a half away in a hay field. And he's nice enough to let me use it, but obviously I'm not going to pull it off the job to do this. So I'm not sure when it'll happen, and that's okay. Quite frankly, it's so hot this time of year that thinking about coming out here and working in the cabin doesn't sound super great, although I am really excited to get it moved over here and get some of the interior work done. I'm hoping that by the time cooler temperatures hit, it'll at least be habitable. You know, at least have a chair, a cot, and you know, the wood stove, maybe folding table, something like that. So that between inside and outside the cabin, we can come out for, you know, a day or two. I'm excited to do my first overnight out here and really retreat out here. It's super good for me to come out now, but it always entails a lot of work, which is good. But I am looking forward to the day where the work can be secondary and the retreat can be primary. So that's the update. We're just going to keep maintaining the site, working up some firewood when we come out, and hopefully have some more leisure time as the temperatures cool. And to come out here when I need to be in the present moment and to make sure that I'm okay. Let's keep running that into the dirt. I'm sure that's exactly what is good for it. I just cut my hand? Yes, I did. Is it bleeding? Not yet. Starting to bleed a little now. I missed a piece of wood. That is not going to feel good in the morning.
Something's up with your recording, Dad.
Dude.
Is that good?
No. Video's totally whacker-jawed. No.
Yeah, there was a cicada above us.
Yeah, he just flew in. He was loud. That didn't work. We'll edit that out.
Wonder why he keeps getting dull.
Fix it in post. I want to share a little bit with you guys something that's been on my heart a lot recently. Growing up through my formative years, especially in the Christian culture, a lot of the talk around masculinity was to provide and protect. And I don't know if I just assumed or if it's outright taught this way, that to provide meant financially. Go out, get a job, work hard at that job, make enough money to support your family. And to protect meant to protect your wife and your children from outside forces, whether they be other people or in the spiritual realm. And I spent a lot of years focused on those two things. How can I best financially provide for my family? And how can I best protect my family? And it only came to me recently that I really had that wrong. God doesn't call a man, a husband, to financially provide for his family. That burden is not solely on him. That is a thing that exists, okay? But that's not what we're called to provide. You know what we're called to provide? The best us, the best me. the best love and care and compassion for my wife and for my children. That's what he wants me to provide to them. Not a nice house, not a new car when they turn 16 or the latest toy, video game, whatever. If we can do that, tremendous. But that is a worldly good. The eternal good that we need to provide for our family is a healthy and a healed or healing husband and father. That's what we're supposed to provide. The next part hit me hard. You know what we're supposed to protect them from? You know what the greatest threat to your wife and to your children is? It's not a burglar, it's not a thief. It's not somebody that's going to assault them. It's the man in the mirror. It's that man that you look at every morning. That man presents the biggest threat to your wife and your kids. Now, the obvious is a physical threat. And I think a lot of guys would say, and rightly, I'm not gonna be physical with my wife and my kids. Good. Are you gonna have a temper with them? Are you gonna fly off the handle at every little thing? Are you gonna berate them, belittle them? Are you gonna get annoyed when they're yelling in the background of your video? The day I looked myself in the mirror and realized that I posed the biggest threat to my family, and that for many years I was the biggest threat to my family, was a sobering moment. So I need to protect my family from that. How do I do that? Well, we can always try and white knuckle it. If you've ever tried that, you know how well that works. It comes out. If you try and bury your anger, it comes out. If you try and bury your lust, it comes out. If you try and bury the damaged parts of you, they eventually come out. So how do you protect them? You got to get real with yourself. You got to get real with your past circumstances. What's happened to you, what you've done. And you've got to deal with those things. You got to seek forgiveness where it needs to be sought. You need to forgive yourself. And you need to let God's mercy heal you. Otherwise, you cannot protect your family from its greatest threat. All right, guys, woo shaky. Spent a couple hours out here. Got the weed eating done. Shared a couple things with you. And it is time to head out. So appreciate you hanging out with me. Look forward to seeing you in the future.